You know, this gentleman, Mr. Alfred Nobel, is the founder of the Nobel Prizes. The Nobel Prizes are given out each year to persons having excellency in different fields like medicine, physiology, maths, literature, and also for peace. But do you know, Mr. Alfred Nobel had discovered something which is used in explosion, like in explosions such as in the construction of bridges and other construction. This explosive substance was known as dynamite. This dynamite later was misused by many people and was used as a war explosive. But do you know that dynamite is a nitrogen-based explosive? That is, it contains nitrogen combined with other chemicals. So, nitrogen can be called as the bringer of both life and death. Because you know, nitrogen is present in all the food pulses and other food grains which bring life to so many people. Nitrogen, which is used in explosives, it brings about death and destruction of many lives. Plants require nitrogen in order to survive. But plants cannot take up the atmospheric nitrogen directly for their use. So, we need to provide plants with a soluble form of nitrogen. This soluble form of nitrogen is provided with the help of fertilizers. So, we provide plants with fertilizers so they can use up the nitrogen and make their food. One such example of fertilizers is urea. This urea is made from a nitrogen-based compound which is called ammonia. Ammonia is a very important nitrogen compound, and ammonia is made in the factories with the help of this equation. That is, nitrogen combines with hydrogen to give ammonia or NH3. So, by using ammonia, we can produce urea, which is a very important fertilizer for plants. Now, just like plants, we humans and animals also require nitrogen for our survival. Now, we humans can obtain nitrogen from our foods like fish, meat, eggs, pulses, etc. Now, you might be wondering why especially these foods? Because these foods are rich in protein. Now, what is protein? Well, protein is an organic substance that contains nitrogen. Thus, these food items are protein-rich food items. We humans and animals obtain our nitrogen from protein-rich foods. We all love to munch on chips, don't we? But whenever we open up the packet of the chips, we find that it is partly filled with air. Now, you might think that this air is unnecessary. But let me tell you one thing, this air contains pure nitrogen. This pure nitrogen in the food packets like chips and other items prevents your food from going stale because oxygen might spoil your food. So, nitrogen gas is added in these food packets so that your chips remain crisp and other foods do not go stale. We know that nitrogen can be liquefied by applying pressure and by lowering down the temperature. This liquid nitrogen is used for freezing of food items and is used as a refrigerant because whenever any substance comes in contact with liquid nitrogen, it remains frozen. Now, imagine a burn patient who needs to undergo a surgery in order to graft a skin on his or her burnt skin. Now, nitrogen comes to play in this situation. How? Well, skin tissues, organs, and blood samples can be stored in liquid nitrogen. This process of storing organs, tissues, and cells in liquid nitrogen is known as cryopreservation. So, in cryopreservation, biological entities are stored in liquid nitrogen, and since you know that liquid nitrogen has a temperature of -196 degrees Celsius, So the biological entities can be kept fresh and frozen for the next use. Nitrogen is also used in the manufacturing of medicines. Medicines like quinine, which is an anti-malarial drug, and also in the manufacture of morphine, which is a drug which helps to give us pain relief. Now, like I said in my lecture, nitrogen can be used for the manufacturing of explosives. So, in this case, in one situation in Oklahoma City in the 1995, a major accident took place when a nitrogen explosive damaged the entire federal building, and it took away many lives and injured many more. So nitrogen is a very beneficial gas. It can be useful for both animal and plants, but if misused, it can cause harm to all life forms. So let us sum up what are the beneficial effects of nitrogen. Firstly, nitrogen gas is used for preparing ammonia and nitrogen-based fertilizers like urea, which is used up by plants for making food. Secondly, nitrogen is required by plants and animals to synthesize a very important organic substance called protein. Now, nitrogen, being inert in nature, is used in food packaging industries, like for example, filling up the chips packets. Fourthly, liquid nitrogen is used as a refrigerant and also used for storing biological entities by the process of cryopreservation. Many important life-saving medicines like quinines and morphine is also made up of nitrogen. And finally, nitrogen can be used to make explosives like dynamite and nitroglycerine.